Hola y bienvenidos a mi diario de viaje. Mi nombre es Juno. Hoy estamos en Medellin, Colombia. You've probably heard a lot of different things about Medellin, so I'm here to tell you the one thing you do need to know is that it is the most dangerous city in the entire world. Because when you get here, you're never going to want to leave. Medellin has so much to offer any kind of traveler, whether you're into partying, whether you're into nature and exploring and just learning history, if you're into food exploration. Let me see. You can hear a guy outside selling some produce. He's selling some banana, piña, all fresh. It can be a little bit tricky knowing what to believe, what you read online. So I always find that the best advice really comes from first-hand experience. That being said, everything I'm going to tell you in this video is based on my own personal experience and not on things that I myself had read before I came here. If you're traveling here completely solo, good news, you can totally do it. It's totally safe. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 10 things to know about traveling solo since I'm a solo traveler. So I'm here just by myself, just checking some things out. You can totally get everything that you want out of Medellin without needing to go with someone or without feeling like you have to be always in the accompaniment of like another person at all times. But as with every city, there's things that you need to know. And so with this video, I want to touch on what I think are the 10 most important things to keep in mind as a solo traveler coming here. Okay, well, let's get into it. Number 1, learn Spanish. You go to some places like Italy and Spain and Amsterdam and Japan maybe, and you find that because they're tourist hotspots, a lot of people will speak English, so you'll be okay. This is not the case in Medellin. Outside of some of the hotspot tourist areas like El Poblado, most people here do not speak English. So if you want to do your exploring in some of the other neighborhoods and areas within and around Medellin, which I definitely recommend doing, you're going to need to know at least basic Spanish. If you're not great at Spanish, but you still don't want that to, inhibit you from experiencing Medellin, what you can do is get like a translator app on your phone, and you can use that to get around. Having a translator app is going to be really in your best interest for those times where even if you do know some Spanish, you'll find that there's a couple words that you wish you knew or some grammar that maybe you forgot or something like that. It's just good to have. 2, don't stick to El Poblado. El Poblado is a cool place. I mean, there's a lot of really hip bars and cafes and a lot of nightlife and a lot of things to do and check out. And I would say it's a good place to stay for your first experience in Medellin. It's relatively safe. You don't really need to worry about a whole lot. El Poblado is catered to tourists and expats. That's where you're going to find a lot of that atmosphere, is in the El Poblado district. And if you've read about it, which I'm sure you have, you know that El Poblado is kind of where everyone's recommending you to go. I do think it would be a good place for you to stay on your first visit to Medellin, or at least for the first few days, mostly to use that as a base so that you can explore some of the other areas and get a better feel of the city. Because El Poblado doesn't really give you the real Medellin. That's kind of what the environment of Poblado is like. It's very, there's a lot of high-end restaurants and all this kind of stuff. Still relatively cheap, but yeah. Number 3, nightlife is not to be skipped. Medellin has such a bustling nightlife here that you would be doing yourself a disservice by skipping out on it. I myself have read so much advice from people saying, don't go out at night in Medellin. I think this is bad advice because a lot of your, Medellin experience has a lot to do with nightlife. This is a very party city. I mean, everywhere. Like, even where I'm at right now, I'm staying in Morelos right now. I'm in an apartment in Morelos. Every night, the street is just lined with music and dancers and bars and everything going on. There's so much going on in so many different parts of Medellin that by not going out at night, you're really limiting yourself to what you're going to be able to experience here. So even if you're not a night person, you should definitely make an effort to go experience the nightlife. Even as a solo traveler, you can totally do it. I think the better advice really here then is knowing where you're going at night. Know the areas to go at night and then the areas not to go. Because there's definitely areas that you won't want to go, even during the day. But at nighttime, pretty much all of El Poblado and all of Laureles, and Estadio even as well. Those districts are pretty good at night. That's where a lot of this stuff is happening. But that's just something to keep in mind, is that it's totally safe to go out at night here. You just have to know to stick to the good areas to do so. Same with any city, like Los Angeles, for example. Same thing. There's places there you won't go at night. Number 4, always look like you know where you're going, even when you don't. This is really a big reason why I think I really didn't experience any issues here. Because, and I've done a lot of exploring. Like, I make an attempt to go to just all of the places, right? So I've walked a lot of places, I've walked down a lot of streets by myself. But the big thing for me is I never look lost. And there's 2 main ways that you can ensure that this happens. First is to study your route ahead of time. Usually what I'll do is on my phone before I leave while I have Wi-Fi, because a lot of times when I go out I don't really have Wi-Fi, so I can't really connect anywhere. But you don't want to be walking around, looking at your phone like maps, trying to see where you're going and looking lost. Because that's something that people, whether pickpocketers or thieves or whatever, will definitely want to take advantage of. Because those are the kind of people they're looking for. They're looking for people who are vulnerable, who don't really know what they're doing, who look like they don't belong here. So you need to keep that in mind. Always assess the situation for yourself. If you're in a better area like Laureles or Poblado, it may not be the worst thing in the world if you pull out your phone for a quick second just to look at the map and to see where you are. Even if you don't have like the directions, so to speak, just seeing where you physically are on the map sometimes is all you need. So let's say you're going to like a coffee shop in Laureles and I'm gonna walk the route. So what I'll do is plug it in and get like the directions to that, and then it'll tell you the directions. So even after you lose Wi-Fi, if you keep that open like that, then those directions will stay there. So I can sort of study that route and say, okay, I need to go down this road and then turn left at whatever the name of the next street is, and so on and so forth, to help me navigate. And this is a really good way to actually learn the area, because if you try to navigate even in your home country, wherever you're from, navigating solely with GPS is actually a really bad habit, because you'll focus so much on what the screen is telling you that you'll never actually learn the surroundings and you won't learn the area around you. In Medellin, it's really good to know the area. So this is how I recommend getting around, is studying the route ahead of time and then going out and figuring out yourself. And then, like I said, like if you have to pull out the phone for a quick second just to make sure you're on the right, to make sure you made the right turn, that's totally okay. If you make a wrong turn, don't turn around, just go to the next street and, make your way back around. It's not too hard. If someone tries to stop you on the street or try to sell you something, you can say no, gracias, but you do it while you're still walking. Don't stop. The moment you stop, like as you're walking on the street and you stop to give that person the attention that they want from you, then you've sort of dug yourself into a hole, because they're going to continue to straggle you until you buy something or what. And at that point, you'll just be annoyed anyway. Number 5, learn the neighborhoods. Medellin is a really diverse place in terms of the neighborhoods. You can actually see some of the neighborhoods here. They are these headings here: La Candelaria,
Laureles Estadio, you have San Diego down here, Asomadera, you have Patio Bonito, this is Poblado, this whole area here. If we click this, you can see it sort of outlines the Poblado district. So it's really just a good practice to try your best to memorize the area that you're in on a map and just educate yourself a little bit on exactly what is where. And in doing so, you can also learn a couple routes ahead of time. For example, one of the routes that I routinely did when I was here was going from Poblado, because I was staying down in the Poblado neighborhood here, and if I wanted to go check out some areas like Conquistadores, what you can do is click just the neighborhood. So I just clicked the whole neighborhood, and then you can click directions, and it's going to show you the directions by car, but you can change that to transit. Medellin is the only city in Colombia with a rail system, and this is actually really cool. You can totally use this. In fact, I used the rail transit pretty much every day, most of the time I was here. It's extremely useful, it's very safe. So here you can sort of see how to use it, and you can use Google Maps to tell you kind of where the stations are. So if you're going from Poblado to Laureles, and you just want to use the public transit, it'll tell you where the Poblado station is, and when you get here, there'll be a ticket booth. You just buy your tickets from there, and you can get a card. You'll have to pay I believe it's 6,000 pesos for a card, and then each ride is about 2,500 pesos, no matter where you go. So 2,500 pesos can take you to right to this stop, Exposiciones, or you can keep going as well to take the metro cable. All transfers are free with the included ride. So if you wanted to take, for example, the metro all the way to Parque Arvi, which I highly recommend doing. So let me just show you that while we're here. You can see here's Parque Arvi on the map. It's way outside of Medellin. You can see it's about 54 minutes. So let's just take a look at this. So here you can see that it's telling you to walk from Poblado to the Poblado station. One ticket will take you all the way to the Santo Domingo station. So basically, if you're not 100% sure how to read this, no problem. I'll walk you through it. When you get on the metro, you're going to have two lines, one northbound, one southbound. The northbound train is the one that's going to say Niquia. This means the train is bound to Niquia bound, which is way up here. So you're going to get on that train, and what Google will actually tell you is it'll tell you the stops that you have to ride through. And then here you can see that once you get to the Acevedo station, which is right here, you're going to transfer to the K train, which is bound to Santo Domingo. In each of the stations, all of the lines are labeled in this manner. They'll tell you what station it's going to. And what that means is that's the last station on the route. That's what that means. So on the K train then, you'll ride that all the way to Santo Domingo. This is the last station on the train. Now this is actually a metro cable, which is free. You can transfer to that for free with a single ride. If you want to ride the L metro cable, this is a 15-minute metro cable all the way out to Parque Arvi. Totally worth it. You will be paying an extra, I think it's 11,000 pesos, if I remember correctly. So just bring some cash for that, but it's totally worth it. It's 11,000 each way, I should add. And there are hours to it. I think it's 9:30 to 4, but just Google it and you'll see for sure exactly what that is. But here you can see just how you can use Google Maps to easily understand and map out your routes ahead of time. So if we want to get to the park in Laureles, there's a couple options, and I'll just kind of walk you through some of the ones that I routinely did. Of course, you're going to get on the A train that's Niquia bound, and you'll transfer it to San Antonio. San Antonio is like the central station. So you're going to find a lot of people transferring here, and it's also always busy because it's located in the very center of the city. So San Antonio is kind of where the two main lines meet. All right. Then you'll transfer to San Javier, which goes towards Comuna 13, by the way. And here it's telling you to get off at Floresta, which you can do. I typically got off at Estadio. Estadio is a pretty good station. In this strip right here, you can see there's a lot of hotels and a lot of like eateries and bars. This is a really cool strip, especially at night. And yeah, this entire area here, like this entire Laureles Estadio area, is pretty good. especially even at night. Even at night, it's pretty good. So you just want to do your research and talk to locals. And not just a single local either. You really want to get a good variety of opinions as far as what is, good and what isn't, because remember that everybody has a different perspective. So what I tell you might be not a good area might just be based on my own personal experience. So that's why it's very crucial to get a variety of different perspectives to understand exactly where you're going.
Number 6, always have cash. This is a pretty cash-based society, but it's becoming more acceptable to using cards in some of the nicer areas like Laureles and Poblado. My general advice is try not to carry more than what you'll need for the day, but do carry a little more than what you think you'll need, because you'll be surprised how quickly the money depletes here. The exchange rate from USD or from euros is pretty favorable. You can see 2,000 pesos. So this is 2,000. So 4,000, this is about $1. You can also get currency in coins. This is 1,000 pesos. Don't just throw these away. You can totally use these. So like this here is the equivalent of this. So don't skip on your coins. You're going to get a lot of coins when you're here. Make an effort to sort of count them and try to spend them. At one place I went to, I even got a 50 pesos coin, which is totally useless. You can't buy anything with that. You can barely buy anything with 100 pesos. The cheapest stands that I saw, like the street stands, the cheapest ones I saw were for 200. So the coins are totally useful, especially if you are going to be doing a lot of like street shopping. A lot of those street markets, if you want that kind of experience, they're not going to accept cards, so you need cash at all times. Number 7 is kind of a follow-up to 6. Don't exchange your money at the airport. This is an absolute don't do. You will lose a lot of value in your cash. Right now, the exchange rate at the airport is 3,500 pesos for $1. Exchanging it at a cash exchange in Medellin, there was one in El Poblado that I like, and you can find a bunch just by Googling them. I would say just make that your first stop. Just stop at the cash exchange in the city, in Poblado or a good area. Never exchange like on the street. You want to make sure you're going inside of a building where it's a little more secure. Cash Cambios is the one I went to routinely, and it was pretty good. They were trading at 4,080 pesos for $1. So that is a significant difference from the 3,500 in the airport. So you're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck by doing it that way. Number 8, Uber is technically illegal in Colombia, but you can still totally use it. Uber is a little different here in that respect because you want to try not to draw attention to yourself as being an Uber passenger, right? So a good way to do that is really just to become best friends with your Uber driver. And they will appreciate you for doing that as well. Because like I said, it's illegal. But it's also going to be your best way to and from the airport. So, number 9. Do not wear your best clothes, but do dress appropriately. Medellin is at a much higher elevation than a lot of those places. It's located in a valley within the Andes Mountains. So the temperatures here are actually relatively mild. You may have heard the city's nickname, the City of Eternal Spring. Pretty accurate. At night, it can be a little chilly. So you do want to dress appropriately. Shorts will make you stand out. I have, just in my people watching that I've been doing, you will see Colombians wearing shorts. You'll see it, but I haven't noticed it to be that common. A lot of people wear jeans or long pants of some kind. T-shirts are generally fine. I even wear like this when I'm dressing a little nicer. This shirt here, like a button-up, but like a casual button, this is about as nice as I'll go. If you want to go salsa dancing, bring a little bit more formal attire if you want to do that, but save that particular attire for the salsa dancing. You're already going to stand out as a foreigner, so you don't really want to look like you have a lot of money. This isn't Los Angeles, okay? People do care about how much money you have here, but for different reasons. Never, never, never get caught without an umbrella or a raincoat or both. Number 10, if you're coming here from the US or the UK or somewhere in the EU, you're going to be amazed to find that everything here is cheap. Pack light and buy the rest of what you need when you get here. I only packed 2 outfits of my own, and I just bought the rest of my clothes when I got here. This shirt I bought here. This is a Colombian made right here in Medellin, and I think it cost me maybe the equivalent of like $6 or $7, something like that. This umbrella, I just bought this umbrella when I got here. This was like $2. Everything here is cheap, so if you need certain things for the trip, such as a small umbrella or a water bottle or any kind of toiletries or anything at all, especially clothes, just buy it when you get here. A full dinner might cost you $7 or $8. Coffee will cost you $1 or less. You're gonna have a good time here. Medellin is one of my favorite places. It's super fun. You're gonna really enjoy it. So, you know, at the end of the day, just keep your wits about you. Don't look like an idiot. And Medellin is just like any other city. Thank you guys for tuning into my journal. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.